Hello everyone, hi, how are you? It is good to see you again. If we've never met before, hi, my name is Candy, also KandyCorpse, but you can just call me Kay. We're gonna be reading some scary stories. We're gonna be reading some true scary stories. So I'm going to be reading from r/Let's Not Meet. I don't know why I forgot about this subreddit, but I'm gonna be doing some true scary stories. I think I said that already. Let's just get right into this. This one isn't too long, but the second one kind of is, so I might not get to the third one. We might only be doing 2 tonight, but you know what? Fuck it. It is what it is. Either I'll only do 2 or I'll have a longer video, which will suck in editing. But, you know, if you guys like and subscribe, maybe I'll keep making longer videos. They suck to edit, but I'll do it if people want me to. This one is titled, I Think I'm Being Stalked, posted by user hopeful_somewhere_70. I'm in the process of applying for a new job and started contacting various places to see if they were hiring / sending in my resume. About 3 weeks ago, I got a text from a director saying that texting would be easier to keep in touch about filling out my application and setting up interviews. I ended up meeting with him twice, 1 to see the facility and 2 for an interview, about 2 weeks ago. Since then, he's passively said things such as how pretty I am, that I'd be a perfect fit, etc., but no actual updates on the job. He's also tried asking me out multiple times, but he tries to make it seem like we would be talking about the job. I've tried not to reply as much as possible, and I've been ignoring him because I don't want to work with someone like that. Yesterday, he messaged me to tell me that he was sending flowers to my apartment building. I never gave him my address directly, but it was on my application. I said thanks and then ignored him because I was freaked out. Yeah, I would be too. Today he asked if we could meet up for coffee because he's in my neighborhood. I didn't respond. About 2 hours later, I took my dog for a walk, passed by a coffee shop that's 2 streets over from my apartment building, and he was sitting in the booth right next to the window. We didn't make direct eye contact, and I honestly couldn't tell exactly if it was him. I just kept walking and almost immediately texted me asking if that was me he just saw / did I want to come back to the coffee shop. I didn't reply. I live in a huge city, so what are the chances that he was at the coffee shop in my neighborhood that close to my apartment by chance? Was he just waiting for my response the whole time? Am I being paranoid about being stalked? Sorry if this is all over the place, posting from a burner because you can tell what city I live in from my regular account. I would be terrified. Girl, you need to, tell somebody what's going on. You need, people need to know what's going on, and if there's any way that you can report him, I would, and I would just keep record of everything. Keep the texts, don't delete them, because girl, you may end up needing a restraining order, at the very least an order of protection, because I think you should give up on that job. Clearly OP already has, and should strongly consider contacting some sort of HR if possible with the company, letting them know what's happening, sending the proof if necessary, and potentially contacting the police, because hopefully it doesn't escalate and he leaves OP alone. But if it were to escalate, I would be worried for OP's safety, because stalking is really scary, and usually nothing gets done about it until something really bad happens, which is terrible. But it's so hard to prove that someone's actually stalking you. So I kind of get it, but I also don't, because I've been in that situation and it truly is terrifying. This story is a bit long. He wanted me to drive him to a place that doesn't exist, by user creaky What the fuck? I'm gonna try this again. This was posted by user creaky_tits, and I don't know that those 2 words I never thought would be together, let alone in the same sentence. I'm a child. It's funny. Titled, he wanted me to drive him to a place that doesn't exist. This week has been hectic. This sounds like it. My 3 kids have the flu. Oldest was first, then my younger 2 caught it. I was heading to CVS down the street from our house to get their prescriptions. I decided last minute to drop my kids off at home with their dad so they could rest, and I could go inside the store to pick up some Pedialyte. I consider our neighborhood to be safe. I've taken walks after dark and never felt afraid. Most of our neighbors are older folks who've lived there over a decade. When I pulled up to the CVS, I parked Hello, sir. When I pulled up to the CVS, I parked on the side parallel to our street. It's darker on that side, but the entrance is right around the corner and well lit. There was a man standing outside. He walked in front of my car and I could hear him talking, but my music was kind of loud. I figured he was on his phone or something. No real red flags yet. My husband called me as the man walked back towards the corner adjacent to the entrance. I got out of my car, still on the phone, telling my husband, yeah, kiddos had the flu, I'm picking up medicine at CVS, etc. In a very pleasant voice, the man says to me, hey, I got a question for you. You know where the main street is? I'm assuming he's asking directions for the location of something, so I tell him I do. I'm still holding my phone in my ear. It's in a bright pink case, so I'm sure he could see it. Now this man is standing directly in front of me. There's a pillar and a trash can behind him. Around the corner is a propane cage and a red box against the store's wall. Getting past him would put me in arm's reach. Next, he asked for a ride there to a homeless shelter. It's very cold outside and he doesn't want to freeze. I empathize with him, but I said I couldn't. I offered to buy him gloves and or a blanket and to ask if an employee in the store could assist in finding him a ride. Sweet baby Jesus, the guy's face instantly changed to pure rage, then right back to pleasant. Well, you know what happens to homeless people stuck outside. You're gonna help me. It's right down the street. I'm standing there unsure what to do. My husband is on the phone asking what's going on. I gently tell the man that I don't feel comfortable doing that and that I have the flu. I don't, and my husband is the one on the phone with me. I don't care about the flu. Now he's getting more angry and not moving from my route into the store. I don't want to turn my back to him to go to my car, which is several feet away in the dark. While the guy is glaring at me, I decide to quickly walk past him. I had my mask from the clinic in my jacket pocket, so I pulled it out and held it in front of me while I moved towards the trash can. He looked disgusted but kept telling me I need to give him a ride. It's right down the street, he insisted. But I knew where that street is, and it's not as close as he says. He tried to guilt trip me, and his words felt threatening, but he didn't actually threaten me verbally. Once I was around the corner, I rushed into the store straight to the pharmacy. My husband said he's calling the police. He heard the way the man was talking to me and said to stay in the store. My knees were shaking. I'm not usually the type to be so afraid when confronted. When I got to the pharmacy, I interrupted the pharmacist and a customer apologizing and told them what happened. The pharmacist sent the store manager out, tall guy with a long beard, looked like he doesn't take crap from people. The police had already arrived. The man was told to leave, which he did momentarily. He came back inside the store yelling obscenities and something about me. Now the store manager had told him to get the fuck out. He's trespassing on the property. The cop came back to talk to me and told me that she's arrested him many times. He's loud and likes to yell at people, but he isn't violent. The pharmacist had me hiding behind the screen where they give vaccines and let the half door to the pharmacy cracked open in case I needed to get out of there. The cop had also told me the guy's first and last name, as did the store manager. Is this normal? The prescriptions are finally filled and I leave the store. The police park next to my car to keep an eye on me. Oh, and the man refused to ride from the cop to the shelter. Later I looked him up. His name is unique, so it was easy to find online. Surprise, surprise, he has a long record spanning 3 states and several counties. Tons of public intoxication charges, DWI, urinating in public, assault and battery, and indecent exposure. I also looked up the homeless shelter. Yeah, as I thought, there isn't one where he wanted me to take him, but the area is super sketchy. Earlier today, I went to the corner store across from CVS and told my friend, the overnight shift employee, what happened. She kicks him out of the store and calls the police every time she sees him because he yells at and threatens customers, but he always takes off before the police arrive. I know I could have handled that better. I was blindsided by his instant shift from pleasant to filled with rage. Big thank you to the pharmacy team who keeps me safe and the store manager for confronting the creep. They didn't have to do all that. I'm thankful my husband recognized I was in an unsafe situation over this phone call. This man is still out there somewhere in my area. That is a lot. And I definitely sympathize with OP because I've been in situations, I've worked a few different jobs. I have a couple right now and both of them are actually night jobs. And I've definitely had experiences where I've had to call the police on people, not always at night, but either like in public, usually as a customer. I've never had to like call the police, but I have had to in my private life as well as like an employee. One of the places I work at is known for getting people who act similar to the person in OP's story It's very common and has caused a lot of issues for employees in the past. Recently, I haven't had any issues like that. Not gonna jinx myself though, but yeah, situations like that are absolutely terrifying. So I totally get where OP is coming from. And honestly, win for the husband for recognizing, like they said, being in like an unsafe situation and being scared. Honestly, good for him, because that's a good husband. He knew what to do and he helped, and that was really great. You look like you could use some crystals. Yeah, I think you want some crystals. Luckily for you, I handmade crystal jewelry and I sell them on my website. If you want to check out Winter Witches Crystals at bigcartel.com, here are some examples of some of my work. You can see some more of it there. I am having a sale at the moment. Everything will be linked down below, as well as the current discount code. So if you are interested in any cool crystal jewelry, growing your crystal collection in general, or you want some oddities, I do sell a little bit of that as well as some crystal candles. By the way, handmade, hand-poured crystal candles. You can't get anything better than that. Good price, and like I said, on sale. Use my discount code down in the comments. And now back to the video. So this third story is titled Almost Kidnapped in Thailand. I am a 21-year-old girl taking her first backpacking trip around the world. I only arrived in Thailand 2 days ago, and it was an unfortunate as I almost got kidnapped on my first night. Yeah, it does say that. I didn't fuck up that time. I went to the Bangla. I'm gonna be so honest. If there's a lot of words like that, I am gonna fuck them up. I went to the Bangla Road, which is well known, and had a few beers at a bar, then went to the popular club Illusion. I'm pretty sure that's how that's said. I was having a good time dancing and meeting people in the club. In the club, I only had 3 drinks, tequila and orange juice. But at some point, I realized I was a lot more drunk than expected. Do not know if I was spiked, but I was dumb and had my drink on the table next to me while I was dancing, and it was very crowded. In total, over the space of 3 hours, I only had 2 beers plus 3 tequilas. Usually that's an okay amount for me to be aware. I went to the bathroom and felt very intoxicated and threw up. Ooh, yeah, girl, you were spiked. I mean, I don't know if the alcohol is like more concentrated in Thailand. I've never been, so I couldn't tell you. I don't really know much about there. So, I mean, it's possible that they just like, there could have just been more alcohol in the drinks, but it sounds like you were spiked. At least a little bit. Like, if you're that messed up, you might have been. I went to the bathroom and felt very intoxicated and threw up. Upon leaving the bathroom, a guy who I do not know grabbed my arm. He seemed young and I asked him what he was doing. He said he would help me down the stairs. After we got down to the road, he dragged me down an alley and put me in his car. Oh, that one wasn't very good. I was really scared at this point and didn't know how I'd gotten myself into a bad situation so quickly. I'm very small and not very strong, so it was easy for him to take control of me. He started driving and I kept saying no, 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 and to stop, but he said don't worry. I had maps open and we were driving out of Patong. Finally, after some time, I started telling him I would throw up all over him in his car if he didn't pull over. This seemed to annoy him and he pulled over. The second he stopped the car, I got out and ran down the street. Luckily, there was a motorbike taxi who asked if I needed a lift, and I jumped on and told him where my hotel was. I could see the guy walking down the road after me as we sped away. Made it back to my hotel safely. Honestly, after that, I'm not going to any bars or clubs alone. I don't trust anyone. Feeling very vulnerable. At least it was a lesson that I needed to be a lot more careful. Just glad I made it out okay. Listen, OP. I mean, yes, you learned your lesson, but at what cost? That was so dangerous. Like, it's already dangerous enough being in a country that I'm assuming you've never been to before. It's already scary enough being there alone. Like, you know, they do have tourist areas, but like, guys, you have to be careful when traveling alone. Like, things like this can happen, and they happen more frequently than people think. Like, you just have to remember to be careful. Like, you don't want to end up in a situation like this, but one where you can't get out of. Like, that's super scary. And I'm glad OP ended up safe in the end, because that is such a scary thing to have happen. All right, guys, so that was 3 true scary stories on Reddit. If you like the stories. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. And if you like this type of content, if you like me reading things off of Reddit, reacting, etc., make sure you subscribe and like this video. And why not turn on notifications so you know when I post again, because I post super regularly. So, why not? Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.